Before any of you attempt to steal the ideas within this book, let me warn you.
You could probably go for it, actually. It's not copyrighted. Many years ago, about 7, I created the beginnings of a masterpiece. A literary marvel, far too great for human consumption. Until now. The Gates of Clenor! I remember this trash quite vividly, actually. I just finished Eragon, the book, not the terrible adaptation.
Didn't do so well last time.
We didn't do so well.
None of it did so well! Due to reading Eragon, I was super into fantasy. Clearly I figured, why not just write my own hit series? Much to my now slightly older, but probably just as cringy self's delight. Let's begin, shall we? I haven't done something like this in a while, I'm excited. Are you guys excited? Comment Jubilee if you're excited. Don't comment Jubilee. Don't comment Jubilee. If you comment Jubilee, I'll love reacting. Oh my god. It has a fancy T and everything. My sister was my editor, so a lot of words have just been scratched out and replaced with better words. The Gates of Clenor. Prologue. Once, the world of humans lived in peace and accepted mythical creatures into their midst. Not midst, mist. But, unfortunately, there were resistances who refused to accept the creatures into the world. Worse still, there were questions in which species were superior. Which species was superior? There were many wars involving many deaths. Finally, after many years of battle, oh my god, it says months and that's cut out and it says years above it. I put months of battle. After many weeks of battle, after a few devastating hours, they concluded that all species were to be sent to different lands and that all species were not to set foot in their incorrect territory. The 12-year-old me just promotes segregation. But there was one who believed he was superior. What? I thought they all... weren't they fighting over that? Isn't that... The last of the Minotaurs. Terrain. Terrain went to the most gullible of species. Ogres. Oh my god. Terrain said that all who bowed to him and served him would not be killed and live in luxury by him. Only 2 opposed. Pretty good. It's a whole species, only 2 opposed. After even more years of conflict, again, this is months, but it's been cut out. So, wait. So there was years of battle, right? But Terrain was a dick, so there was even more years of battle, right? After even more years of conflict, Terrain conquered each land one by one. Wow, what a legend. It was only too soon. It was only too soon had he and his army of ogres and a couple of recruits such as a pet dragon. What? You can't just drop dragon casually. And a couple of recruits such as a pet dragon named Zyron, whatever, conquered and had taken over the world. What a roller coaster that was. A page and a quarter. We set up context. We just summarized the entire history of these people, and now we're ready to dive in to whatever the happens next. Even now, Terrain still reigns supreme. With the world in ruins and many deaths, there seems to be no hope. This is dark, isn't it? Except one. A prophecy. It may just be rumors, it may not. But it's given hope to the people that a god named Clenor, in human form, it's written. I'll leave it on the top. In human form, will defeat the ogres, slay the dragon, and destroy the Minotaur. That's a lot to ask, isn't it? But there is a catch. Oh my god. Oh my, yes, twist after twist with this. He is in human form, yes. But he is stuck in the Gates of Clenor, being tricked by his evil brother Slagon. Wait, what? So is he human form while being trapped? Why? Many have tried to find the gates, many have failed. Did any succeed? Even if they did find the gates, it's written only someone pure of heart would be able to open them. Or be vaporized in the progress. In the progress? Holy sh**. Only someone pure of heart. Oh, they get disintegrated. This prophecy scared Terang more than anything. So Terang set out crushing the hope of the ones who believed and crushed those who spoke it. He became more forceful and more hot-headed than before. He was pretty hot-headed before, let's be real. He forced families to supply food and weapons to him, or death. Wait, I know it means they die if they don't do it, but it sounds like, okay, listen, hey, it's your boy, Terang, world leader in that. Food and weapons, or death. Give me some death. What do you mean, don't know what that means? Should probably stick with food and weapons then. Along those families were the Begales. Oh my god, the names. It's just obnoxious. This family's trade was making weapons. The father is a blacksmith, and a good one. He had 5 sons. There was... Oh, we're getting into some characters now. This is exciting. Billy, who was eldest, strongest, and most loyal. He helped his dad with the weapons. Zach, second eldest. He is brawny, creative, and never backs down to a fight. Oh, he's pretty cool so far. Spick, not his real name, but prefers to be called it, the twin of Span. Oh, like Spick and Span. Got him. Brawny, but not exactly the smartest in the world. Span, not real name either, but again, likes it. It's twin. His twin of Spick, brawny, but obviously not very smart. And the youngest of the bunch. This is the protagonist, isn't it? Simon. Unlike his brothers, he has more brains than muscles. His father sees him as a disappointment to the family. So does his brothers, who insult him whenever they can. Oh no! But over the years, he's learned to ignore them. That's nice. What was 12-year-old me going through? His shape isn't the only difference between him and his brothers. Simon has brown hair and eyes like his mother. And his brothers, being closer to their dad, have green eyes and black hair like Simon's father. Simon, being the youngest, works in the field with the horse. It's kind of a punishment for being puny. Oh my god. But Simon didn't mind. Oh. He liked being by himself. Of course he did. His family sucks. They're terrible to him. They think his father thinks he's a disappointment. His brothers hate him. His mom's probably dead. But of course he wasn't always alone. Sometimes Miracle was with him. Miracle is Simon's only friend and horse. It's a horse. Oh. He calls her Miracle because it was a miracle she lived. You see, Miracle's father. What is the narrative voice here? Is it like... Is it just an omnipresent... No, is it Clenor? Is Clenor saying it? I mean, like, the fact he's using like, you see... It's all... What? You see, Miracle's mother died when giving birth to her. What? This is so dark. Simon found her, lying next to her mum's body, barely alive. He took her into the barn and fed and nurtured her until she was fully grown and healthy. They've been friends ever since. Looking after the horse isn't Simon's only job. He also cooks, cleans, and virtually does all the housework. Usually the woman of the household would do all that, but Simon's and Billy's, Zach's, Spick's, and Spock's Spans. Mum died some time ago. I told ya. She's dead. Jesus. It was in the war. You know, in 2001. That's crossed out. You know, in 2001. Try to keep up. An ogre hit her with its club. One of the spikes buried directly into her brain's cortex, killing her instantly. She wasn't even fighting. Just at the wrong place, at the wrong time. Then again, it was a long time ago. Simon was over it. Simon! A gruff voice disrupted Simon's thoughts. He didn't have to turn around. He knew who it was. Hi, Father. His voice came out more squeaky than he anticipated. I need you to make us dinner with some sausages I snagged earlier. Is that a pun? His father pointed his thumb at the house. Great. This was all Simon said. Well, hop to it. I'm just changing the voice for the father every time, don't mind me. Well, hop to it. The ogre will come soon to pick the stuff up. Typical. Sending his stupid ogres to do all his work, Simon muttered under his breath. Well, see you, girl, sighed Simon, patting Miracle. Gotta go make dinner. Yippee, he added sarcastically. He jogged over to the old rusting house. The iron door gave a groan as he yanked it open. His brothers were gathered around the table, which was really the wooden floor, and singing 3 Blind Mice. Terribly and really loudly. Yeah, I was definitely reading Skullduggery at the time. Simon walked to the fireplace, picking up the sausages as he went. He grimaced as he picked them up. They weren't in a packet and they were bleeding, not to mention dusty. Did I mention Simon's a vegetarian? No? Well, he is. A big one. I'm into this now, you guys into it? After Simon had prepared and served dinner, he went up to the top of the stairs to the attic. His room was dark and small, but the only place he could whip out his notepad. In Simon's notepad, there were many sketches of beings he had met and places he had been. He was just finishing his drawing of an ogre. All the ugly features, including the snake-like eyes and picky nose, finely detailed. Speaking of which, the ogre is due to come in soon. Suddenly, there was a pounding at the door. Whoa, who could it be? Is it you, Mum? It was the ogre, alright. Right down to its pot belly and its grubby toenails. Weapons, it said in a slow, monotone voice. It gestured with its plump hand. I wonder how many brain cells ogres have, Simon thought to himself. Probably not many. Simon chuckled. A bit too loudly. What? Funny? Asked the ogre, holding his club up menacingly. Don't listen to him. Simon's father jumped in front of Simon. He's only a stupid boy. Now, changing the voice for him every time. Now, you said something about weapons. Yes, said the ogre. Boss, what? Now. Yes, I'll go get them for you now, okay? Hurry. Boss, waiting. The ogre hit the club in its hand. Boss, not patient. Simon's father nodded enthusiastically before running to their shed. As he neared the rusting, worn-out shed, he rustled a bit in his pocket before pulling out a big iron key. Simon's father reached his destination, pushed the key into the padlock, shutting the shed, and turned. The padlock shutting the shed and turned. It opened with a smoke and fell to the ground. He hurried inside for a moment or two and then popped back out, arms full of swords, crossbows, and flails. Simon, only just realizing he was rooted to the spot, slowly started to walk inside. So he's like, he only just got in when his father came back. Here you go. His dad passed the weapons to the ogre. Just what the doctor ordered. What is the setting here? Because clearly it's like medieval, but they got all of our sayings. It all there? Asked the ogre, rather stupidly. Yes, I believe so. Good. Me leave. Me give stuff to boss. The ogre puffed out his chest as if proud of itself. Okay, you do that. Simon's father pulled the door closed, only to have it opened again by the ogre's foot. This for making boss wait. The ogre lifted one of the swords Simon's father just passed to it and thrust it into his dad's chest. Simon gave a gasp of surprise before his father crumpled to the floor. The ogre gave a deep, throaty laugh and then hobbled towards the hills where his hellhound waited. Dark as hell! Simon found the body a couple minutes later. What do you mean he found it a couple minutes later? He just saw him die! What? He didn't cry! He was more angry than sad. He found his father's crumpled body with its blood-stained chest. Simon cried out in anger and ran to the room in his attic. He started packing right away. He didn't know where he was going. He didn't care. But one thing he knew for sure, revenge. But First his mother, now his father. He needed revenge! Exclamation point. Not only on the ogres, but on the thing that controlled them. Terrain. And there was only one way he could get revenge. He had to find the gates of Clenor. Okay, two things. Why would he care about revenge? His father's a d***. He said he was over his mom's death. And how does he know about the gates of Clenor? I get that he's a smart kid and all, but Terrain killed everyone they knew, right? And when, in any of this, has he showed a slither of courage? Is it slither or sliver? Sliver, innit? Where, in any of this, has he shown a slither of courage? For some reason, he's just been inspired after seeing the big hole in his dad's chest. And there's only a little bit more. Woo! Chapter 2. The quest begins. How? How can you top the beginning of this? The prologue. That was the prologue. How's the chapter 2? Okay, who am I to point out flaws in a masterpiece where there is none? You're crazy! You're crazy! This was about the third time Brother Billy had told him he was crazy. Look, I'm going and you can't stop me, Simon yelled. Look, I'm going and you can't stop me! Okay, at least tell me what you're taking with you. Wow, that worked? Really? What the... You're telling him he's crazy 3 times and he's like, hey, I'm going. He's like, alright, what are you taking with you? My notepad, my sheet, and all my spare clothes. What sheet? Like your bed sheet? Okay, Billy said. What about food, water, weapons, and armor? There is a lot of creatures out there, you know. Yeah, but I don't like weapons, and you know it. Yeah, but those monsters don't care if you like weapons or not, Billy added. They will smite you. Keyword being will. I mean, Billy is trying to be practical. He's just like, what? Does Billy not care about the father's death? He doesn't seem distraught at all. He's just like, hey man, I don't know about this. You going out on your own with no weapons, food, or armor? They will smite you. Keyword being will, not smite. No! I won't carry weapons, okay? He's really defensive about this. Okay. Call me when you die. Do they have cell phones? Why are they meddling with swords and flails and crossbows? Billy left the room, slamming the door behind him. That's the end of that conversation. Come on, girl, Simon had said his goodbyes to his brothers and the house, barn, shed, and attic. Oh, that's nice to think about it. What about your dad's dead body? Are we not gonna have a scene where they bury him or something? We're just too inspired. He's too fueled by revenge. He's out of there. He doesn't have time. And now he's set on his journey for the gates with Miracle as his steed. Simon was wearing quite thin clothes as he found out all too soon. Someone said, hey, Simon, nice nipples. F***ing idiot. It had started to rain, and his simple shorts and vest were not proving any good at all. He hadn't even traveled that far yet, only a couple 100 meters from his house. Go back then. It's raining, man. It's alright. It's not that embarrassing. Simon knew he needed a place to stay, but there wasn't a town in sight. Were they by themselves out there? Even if he did find a place, he had no money to pay for an inn or anything. He is quite the underdog hero, isn't he? He rode on sadly. He didn't seem to notice the rain anymore. He focused more on where he was going to search. In the end, Simon decided to sleep under a tree. It slightly kept him out of the rain and most of the wind. It was quite comfortable, actually, for a tree anyway. He tied Miracle's rein to his tree's shelter and pulled out a sheet and put it on the horse. Oh, better me than you, eh? Simon chuckled. He curled up next to Miracle, patting her side. He was asleep in 5 minutes. That's it. That's what's written. That was my epic. That was my piece de resistance. My Mona Lisa. Like Dunkirk, if you believe what the critics are saying. It wasn't convoluted at all. The plot very straightforward. Terrain. Messed up the world. Ogre. Stabs his dad. What else are you gonna do, huh? Other than try and find the gates of Clanor. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I enjoyed reading it. I thought it was freaking weird and hilarious. Leave a like if you did enjoy. Subscribe if you haven't. Comment your favorite character or any failed literary attempts you had as a child. And keep creating. Unless you're doing terrible adaptations like Aragon. After many months of battle,